It's our second semifinal of the night. Bernie Gunther, Don Cooper, Jade Smith with you under the lights at Champion Stadium. 3rd Street scene. All battling for an opportunity to take on Smash It Sports tomorrow at 1 o'clock in that championship game. We are glad you are with us. Nice little quick break in between the two games. Obviously at 11 o'clock Eastern time. The company, they're trying to get these games going, Coop, about as quick as they possibly can.
Yeah, we are up against a curfew here at Disney, but they're a little more friendly on the major. They understand the impact of it, and they'll let it slide. But they're supposed to get the game started by 11, and they'll let it finish. So here we are. We're technically going to call it an 11 o'clock start time.
Joshua Kirsten. Not a whole lot of fields actually here that have lights, just some in the back, and so the majority of the championships, when you come to play in a tournament, the women's or the C or the E or the B are played during the course of the day, and that does obviously give them a chance to trickle into the stadium at the end of the day.
Correct. Obviously, a lot of the backfields are spring training fields for the Atlanta Braves, and there's no need to have some of those fields lit.
So the other side of it is obviously we are here in a big game. The winner of this one is going to take on Smash It Sports tomorrow. The winner of that game will play in the championship game and only need to win one more game to be crowned men's major champion. But the flip side is, what an intriguing matchup we have for you to start the day tomorrow at 9 a.m. on USSSAlive.com with Rismondo and Backman.
That's not something that anyone saw coming. When you think about, they will be out of the tournament in the 5th place spot. Probably the number 1 and number 2 favorite teams in this tournament coming in, the chalky picks that play each other in the finals. They were on the opposite side of the bracket. It laid out great for them to be playing each other in it. The 1 and the 2 seed. One of them are going to be gone in the 5th place game. There's no chance for one of those two teams to get there, and it's probably if we would have had the old office pool going on the bracket, that's a Duke, North Carolina first-round loss type thing in comparison.
Jason Matsik popped up, out number 2. But the big story, obviously, we talk about seeing 3rd in the conference during the regular season, but obviously, if 3rd Street can put together the same type of effort that they had last night against Rismondo, they're a team that could walk away and bring the big trophy back as well.
If they put half the effort together as they did last night, it was absolutely from everywhere a perfect performance, top to bottom. And it takes that to beat Rismondo, but to do what they did was amazing. As we saw today, how good Rismondo is, even when they're trailing and they come back and get the 18 runs in 2 innings to keep their dream alive. It was an incredible performance last night. And here they come right back at it.
Line drive, base hit.
And the Scene's been an interesting team all year long. They're a team that wanted to build their roster to be a AA team. It was never really configured that way. Everybody knew they were a major team. Their sponsor and their coach tried everything they could to adjust it. They wanted to try to take a shot at the AA Worlds and the major, and I think they got a lot better once they just decided, hey, we're a really good team. We're a top 1 or 2 or 3 team in the country. Let's quit playing the game and put our best team on the field and just go for it. And ever since then, they have been absolutely, on a roll.
David Kessler at the plate.
And Kessler's coming back from injuries.
Wow, that one just had enough to carry over. And we saw the big bashers on Backman and Smash It Sports. Maybe not quite as many home runs, would you say, the way that these two teams play compared to what we saw in the previous game?
I don't know. The Scene has a lot of power. Jason Branch is never-ending power and go-go. I think what we're seeing a little bit here is maybe less name recognition, Bernie. We're
right.
Used to seeing Wegman and Helmer and Kirby and B.J. Folk and so forth, or Ryan Harvey. But, this is a case of look at these two rosters and they play the game. And the other thing, if you look at what 3rd Street's done, as we've seen a couple of them right here, sure, Kessler chipped one out of here, but the other guys are playing their game just like they did at the AA World, just like they did all year long. They're gonna flick it in the gaps. They're gonna take their hits backside. They're gonna go. Jason Magnum's one of their big guns. You know, he's gonna dig in here and go. So I think the other thing they've done a really good job of is playing to their strengths. And you will see a lot of the teams get down here and they get sucked into playing home run derby. And you're not going to beat Smash It or Rismondo playing home run derby. You've got to play your game, and your game is you've probably got 6 guys that it's a stretch to get out of here consistently. So why put them in that spot?
Jason Magnum, this guy, we saw him hit one of the longest home runs.
Yeah, he has crazy pop.
Of this men's major World Series 2 nights ago. According to FlightScope, I think it sailed 462 feet. And I guess when a guy can hit it at 462, just give him first base.
Yeah.
For Justin Evans.
And here's a kid that can obviously get up out of here, but gap to gap is his strength. You know, shoot a ball in that right center gap, let it roll out there to the big scoreboard and take the 2 runs. They count the same as if a ball goes over the fence, and it gets lost sometimes here. Nice
Wow.
play.
How about that play? You have got to be quick to play pitcher. He celebrates on his way in the dugout. Why not?
Why not?
This one comes back. It's 96 miles an hour. They said that it's flight time 0.2 of a second. 3rd Street leading 3-0. Scene coming to the plate when we come back.
For those who serve. For those who protect. For those who save. For those who have sacrificed. The Heroes Tour is dedicated to you.
All right, Scene coming to the plate. Join the conversation with us tonight. Hashtag Men's Major. Bernie Gunther, Don Cooper, Jade Smith with you on MLB.com. The Scene, number 3 in Nationwide Conference USSSA, coming to the plate.
Leading things off for the Scene, their 3rd baseman, number 36. The Offensive Player of the Year in Conference USSSA with an on-base average of 802,
Jason Branch leading things off.
He is the definition, Bernie, a gamer.
You can tell from the walk-up song.
Yeah, he's just
right?
a gamer. I mean, there's, like we've talked about, he's a guy, if he's on your, he's the younger Ruley, where if he's on your team, you're so happy to have him, and if he's not, you can't stand him. And he gets it all done. He is definitely, to use a Reggie Jackson cliche, he's the straw that stirs their drink.
I mean, you get the song all about seeing you smile at the men's major. That's what you're picking as a walk-up song. You're winning some brownie points
Yeah,
somewhere,
absolutely.
Right?
And it also tells you really don't care, right? You're not.
Eric Canopy. You know, that's what we talk about. We know the names, the Helmers, the Wegmans, but we saw Eric Canopy again hit a towering shot.
And we saw him in the home run derby earlier, as well as Davis Billardero in here, and then the young man that's on deck, Dale Brungart, who, again, once the Scene decided they were going to go major, he became available, You know, he moved on from the Smash It team. They went a different route. He was a little bit injured at the time, and there's Canopy going to go, I'm going to go get you a pair right now. And all of a sudden, you know, here's a 3-hitter you pick up off the street who's, you know, won a major World Series, been in the finals of major World Series. He's a prolific home run hitter. So, again, I think that when the scene really got rolling is when it got all about the politics of how classification works, and we should be allowed to do this, and we should be allowed to do that, and they just got to playing softball. They've been a handful for everybody.
Line drive base hit for Dale Broomgart. And, you know, this is one of the guys. I remember when he really started to come on the scene a handful of years ago. We'd seen him at the beginning of the season in April at the Hall of Fame Classic. Really impressed by his defense, with his power, and then, like you said, just could not stay healthy the full season. And so you think about what the scene gets, a wild card that really has tons of potential when everything is right and he's healthy.
Absolutely. And he loves the game. His family loves the game. We've talked about it before. His sister Tara plays the game. She coincidentally has the same issue. She gets hurt, you know. You know, here's another guy, Brandon Dillon, center fielder when Smash It won. You know, the Smash It team, then sponsored by Laser Vision, won the championship. Again, they pick him up. You have to give Jason Kendrick a lot of credit for how he constructed this roster. It's a lot of guys that have been on. I think Dillon just got up out of there. If it doesn't hook foul, it does.
And I can only hope that we get to see the Brandon Dillon that we saw play defensively 2 nights ago. He put on a clinic out there in left field.
And that was his issue with the Smash It team. And Brett has told you how much he loved his offense and loved the kid as a person. He struggled defensively, and he's come over here and got a kind of a restart and has flourished. You know, they got him out of center, and he went into left, and he's really flourished. And their shortstop or middle infielder, Shente Granados, the same way. All the talent in the world, was the brightest up-and-coming star, ran into some problems, but he's kind of resurrected himself over there. He's still a mid-20s guy, and you have to give Jason a lot of credit for what he's done here.
And Brandon Dillon just kind of dumps this one into left field.
Trying
to go 2. There's the play at second. They got him. Oh, wow. What a throw in from left field. It all started with a hustle out there and left. Jason Matzik fires it in, and they get Dillon trying to take the extra bag. Inning over. We've got, nope, not yet. Just one out. We got our.
It's 11:15, and we're going to give you a pass on that one. You've been broadcasting for 20 straight hours.
They started playing the theme music. That's the trigger in the mind.
We're running the Jerry Lewis telethon for softball right now. We're just here talking.
Keith Lasky popped up at number 2. Then the music gets playing, we start going to break.
We're robots.
2 away, 3-3 game.
And here's the Shente Granados. You know, all the tools in the world. A lefty again, which we've talked about how much they're loved in this park. Can play shortstop, middle infield. Young kid.
Bouncing ball, foul, Shante Granados. Some people wondering, why do we have a pitch count on the board? This happens to be the same bug box that if you turn on a Thursday night MLB showcase with Bob Costas at Wrigley Field watching the Cubs and the Mets, are using the same scoring system, and unfortunately on our behalf, we'd like to take the pitches off. It's just not really part of the equation. And the future versions, maybe we turn that into the exit speed or give you something that's a little more viable to the equation. But it gives us a nice look.
Sure.
We thank MLB.com for obviously carrying the Men's Major World Series tonight, and it's back on the air tomorrow night as well.
Well, again, like I said, every time someone talks about, oh, you're advancing and this is going on, if we would have thought we were going to be doing this on MLB and MLB.com a couple of years ago, I don't care what they want to put up there in the bug burning. I think it's awesome that they're here. You're able to sit at home and watch this. And what I thought was even kind of interesting, the last game we saw Tracy Flack, one of the coaches for Backman with it live streaming into his iPad to watch the replays and make sure that they were keeping up to date on some things that were going on.
Constantino. Wow, that was another long run out there in left field, but Jason Matzik, he makes two big plays. He comes over and gets one in foul territory. He makes a big throw to second to get Dylan, and now we go to break as we go to the second in a 3-3 game.
Hey, this is Brett Helmer. We are out here testing out and shooting some video of our new 2016 bat line. This is a 2016 Bryson Baker 13.5-inch two-piece bat.
The balance point keeps you more consistent as a hitter.
This is the Scott Kirby 2016 12-inch barrel, end loaded.
Coming off of a baseball background, I need something that's end loaded. My bat's got a lot of it.
Brian Wegman 2016 Realtree camo.
My miss hits down the barrel. I still get good performance out of it.
2016 Helmer two-piece Connection Zero. I like my bat as heavy as I can get it. 2016 Mako Torque with a 360-degree rotating torque handle. It'll let you stay in the hitting zone a little bit longer. This is a 2016 long barrel end load in Realtree camo. This thing looks great.
Defense, that's not fun, man. Defense is, one of these days.
Say it's not fun?
It's not. Who cares? We'll let those little guys do it.
Let the little fast guys play defense, and we'll just
That's right.
We're back under the lights at Champion Stadium. It's the top of the second inning between 3rd Street, who upset Rismondo in the number 3 seed. The scene 3-3. Chad Folsom leading things off. And Folsom, this is kind of what they did so well yesterday in that win over Rismondo. Not a ton of home runs. They obviously hit enough to get the win, but it was the base hit ability to just go station to station.
They played their game. That's who they are.
Robert North. Winner of this one taking on Smash It Sports. If you're just joining us, they took down Backman. And the big reason they set the tone early on with the 12 runs in the top of the first inning. Backman really, they made their pushes. They just couldn't finally get over the hump, and then the final thump in the top of the 7th was the nail in the coffin as North lines this one back up the middle.
Yeah, I mean, Backman's going to look back at that and say we had the opportunities. We were right there. We had the shots. We did some things right, but you know, they didn't. They just never got over that hump. They never got that lead to see what would happen. You know, to see if the momentum would change.
Cam Byers.
He might have gotten it. No. Came off the bat really well. That's interesting. The ball doesn't die out there like that very often to right field. He must have.
Well, you take a look at the flight scope analytics. It sounded good off the bat, but the exit velocity was just 90 miles an hour. The right launch angle, 29 degrees.
Great hustle, great throw here.
Joshua Kristen at the plate. Two on, one out. Bill Pinkham at the plate. Get a chance to see a bunch of young pitchers in this game. The Cam Byers. And who do you think is some of the most up-and-coming pitchers now? Obviously
there's
Andy
not
Purcell.
enough. I mean, and then actually Bill Pinkham, who's thrown over the scene right now, is actually not that young. He just got up here. I mean, I think Bill's 40 or so. There's not. That's why I tell so many people that ask me, what's the quickest way? Go work on your pitching and work hard. Travis Clark's probably the best case for that. But, there's not enough pitching right now. And it sounds funny when I hear people say, slow pitch. It's slow pitch. What do you mean there's not enough pitching? But you've been watching this morning. How important has Andy Purcell been to the game? How important was Billy Messina before that? Scott Nastali, other guys that have come through that were just lockdown pitchers and they can do those things. There's not a lot of them. We used to have a deal a couple years ago. We would say there was Andy Purcell and everybody else. And the difference between Andy and everybody else was like 13 rungs on a ladder. I don't know.
Time is called.
Hall of Famer Jason Kendrick, who coaches the scene. There's a little jog out there to one of the best left-handed power hitters to ever play here. But yeah, I don't know who that answer is. I mean, you'll see the top teams. You'll see the top teams down, watching C tournaments and B tournaments and D tournaments, looking for that next pitcher. I wish I knew who it was because I'd have already signed him. I mean, that's the case. I mean, I really don't.
Well, I guess the difference is is the learning curve for a guy like Ryan Harvey. You see, he comes in, his Major League Baseball career ends. He decides to pick up slow pitch softball. The mechanics on the hitting, though slightly different, are still obviously very similar.
Yeah,
but the learning curve for pitching obviously probably takes years to develop.
And I think also, like we've talked about many times, it's a mentality. You're standing 50 feet away. We just had a 108-mile-an-hour line drive go through the 5-6 hole. You're standing 50 feet away. So it's also, do you want to go stand out there? Do you want to throw a strike to Ryan Harvey? Do you want to throw a strike to Greg Cannell? Those are the type of things also. It's a mindset. Bobby Noth from 3rd Street, I believe, went out and threw to one batter or threw one pitch earlier this weekend and retired. He was 51 or 52 years old, 53. I apologize, I don't know his exact age. Been a great pitcher forever and was still out here. Billy Messina is the backup pitcher and coach of Smash It, Bernie, and he's 55 years old, 54 years old, but he knows how to pitch, and he's still here because they haven't found another pitcher.
And now number 52, Brad Taylor.
Two in here for 3rd Street. Bradley Tabler. But the good news for the sport is we've seen a lot of really new, fresh faces get in.
We have, but pitching is the one spot. If you think about how many young center fielders we've seen come in, or shortstops that have come in, or power hitters. The Ryan Harveys who are still fairly new, the Chris Greinerts, those type of players that have come into all the positions. There hasn't been as many pitchers come in, and I think again your point was probably a little right on point with Ryan Harvey. If you come out, if you're a really good defensive center fielder, you need to learn how to hit a little bit. It's a different sport. But playing center field, if you're that good, if you're Ryan Cano at second base, you can come here and play second base. You're covering the bags the same, rotation slot a little bit, but you're catching everything, and you can adapt to you're not learning that pitching anywhere else. You're not coming out of college and saying, okay, I was a college slow pitch pitcher, or I was, it is the one position on the field that until you get here, you've never done it.
Yeah, obviously, if you're athletic, the defense is going to carry over. The base running is going to carry over. The hitting It's eventually going to carry over, probably a lot quicker than the pitching.
Well, yeah, it's adjustable. Kessler is just trying to wear this place out tonight. So did he get enough? He did.
Grand slam, Dave Kessler.
A grand slam home run for 3rd Street.
Yeah.
They're trying to slay their second dragon in back-to-back nights.
And you've seen a lot of the guys that have converted over and turned out to be good pitchers in the recent times were middle infielders that have decided they wanted to pitch. So you had that reaction time. You were able to field your position. You understood that.
Nine 3. Finally, side retired, but a big inning for 3rd Street. And the scene answer back. We'll play the bottom of the second. We come back.
One, two, three, baby! Oh boy, let's go. Bye, Mike!
And we are back at Champion Stadium. We're having a great time. Don Cooper, Jade Smith, Bernie Gunther with you under the lights. Men's Major World Series. Full day of coverage. I know it's something that a lot of the softball community really look forward to this.
Yeah, and like I said, it's one of the great advancements of all the technology that's come out. And it was, I know there was
the Kirby's at the end of the day.
The Kirby's, we can thank them. That's right. When they started that, they were way ahead of their time, and they were trying to get this going before we even had ever heard of Facebook. So, they give them credit for that.
Number 4, Steve Whaley.
Steve Whaley at the plate. Pitch taken inside for a ball.
Going to run all the way to the wall, I think.
Stand-up triple to the gap for Whaley. Leadoff man 75 feet away from home for Davis Villardello.
Davis Villardello. He put on a clinic tonight in the home run derby.
He did.
Can he get one here during the course of the game? Nope, goes Oppo. Line drive. And this one rolls all the way into the corner. And these guys aren't afraid to hustle for the extra bags. You got to love that.
That's the youth, and that's what we talk about. How many young guys have come in? Davis Villardero from down here, and you've seen Flip Washington, from Combat. We've seen a lot of young players. The Umshides, that he's a few seasons in now. But back to the pitching we have. Corey Newman, actually, the young man hitting right now, who's worked his way up rapidly through the ranks.
And, he catches a break there.
And that's the stuff last night, every one of those balls hit like that against Rismondo was fielded and caught and thrown to first. I mean, they didn't make a single mistake last night. And through 2 innings tonight, they've made more mistakes than they did last night. And it's hard to be that perfect in game in and game out.
And there's Bill Pinkham. He started from the bottom, and now he's here at the Men's Major World Series.
It is clearly 11:30.
Popped up. Into right field, and the play made. There's an out finally on the board.
Pinkham retired. There's one out now for the top of the order, and Jason Branch.
This game's really kind of playing out a little less score, but kind of the same feel as that game that we just got done with. That, you know, third seats ran out a little bit of a lead. Can Scene ever get to the point where they take the lead on them and put doubt right now? These kids are playing on borrowed money. They've won a game last night that no one, and probably no one even in their dugout, really expected them to win. They wanted to win it, but they didn't expect it. And the longer they keep a lead in this game or stay right with them, the more they're going to believe they're going to be the undefeated team going to Sunday or Saturday now.
Jason Branch, top of the lineup.
One out walk for Branch.
It's really been, I guess, you see the top two seeds that have really controlled this tournament from 2003 on, because you got Rismondo, Dan Smith, Laser Vision. The only other name, obviously, Rismondo's got a million in between the two.
Yeah.
So the Scene and Third Street trying to join that party. Obviously, the Scene with the finishing third. They have the talent. They've had a really great season. But I think you're starting to see the depth of the slow pitch start to grow.
Absolutely, yeah. And I think, and when we were in the coaches' dinner and manufacturers meetings, you know, the CEO Don Dianatis made a comment of, you know, parity was his word, and you and I have talked about it the last couple of years. It's coming, it's getting closer, and it's getting closer, and we saw that last year. You know, Rismondo, people forget, they won the Major World Series by a run. You know, it wasn't a couple of run rules. I mean, they won it on a great swing by Howie Krause, the veteran, and a great play by Lee Powers at the end of the game, and you know they won that by a gun. So it's closing it. It's even closed more now, and it may have even flipped. I'm not sure that some of the stuff like we've talked about, some guys aren't living on name recognition. It's not that they're still not great players, but the individual talent gap is closed. Every team right now has, you know, a stone-cold hitter, a power guy, lockdown center fielders, great shortstops.
All right, Brandon Dillon at the plate. And you got to be impressed with what the Scene's done here in the second inning. After Third Street scored 6, they've come back and roared to score 4.
I want to know if they're wearing the Panda shirts under these jerseys.
You have a reporter that could find out for you.
Where is the Panda?
I'm not sure that she probably should phrase it, what happened to the Panda shirts?
Yeah, probably a better way. You are right.
Brandon Dillon out to left field. Wow. Ooh. That is a slippery ball.
Well, and that's what we talked about. There's definitely a little bit of dew out there on the ground. I don't know if it caused all of that, but one of the things that we were talking about, I think it was a question that was tweeted into us, was how is this new ball this weekend, the synthetic cover, change anything? And we've seen this a couple times where in the morning and when the ball gets wet or just damp a little bit, it slides out of their hands.
And I guess the really good news, and we've got to knock on wood, is that rain has not been a factor, believe it or not, at this Men's Major World Series. And it appears, especially now that we've kind of made it through the early evening when you have your biggest threat, that the only chance that it's going to have a chance to make an impact is on the final day of the World Series.
Well, now in about 3 minutes when it starts raining and we have a rain delay that takes us to 4 in the morning, I would like the whole crew to realize who brought this up, and it wasn't me.
It's the small things in life, right? All right.
So I think what the discussion here is how many bases do you award on that throw? So because it was an outfielder throw, so I believe, and I don't know if Rick Roberson's still down there, that Jay could ask her, I believe the ruling on this is it's 2 bases from the last base occupied, unlike if it was an infield throw where it would be 2 bases from where you started from. And I think they're going to deem it both being the same way, saying that throw was probably made before he occupied first base, so you can't give him third base on that.
Lasky at the plate.
The batter,
There's only an out here in the bottom of the second.
Or if maybe one of our umpires that are following along could clarify that for us. Lasky misses it.
And it said no sacrifices, but that
we heard
is
Kent,
in fact what we're going to have.
We heard the manager Jason Kendrick I don't need a sack, Lasky. I need you on the bag. So.
And now number 5, Shenty Granados, the batter.
Shenty Granados. They've almost climbed all the way back from the 6 runs that 3rd Street scored in the top of the second, though.
And again, this has that same feel from earlier. You're quite there. Now, can Shente get him a 2-run home run here or hit a gap? And, we've tied it up again. Can we do something to, just take a 1-run lead, but just to flip it back? There's a 1-run lead.
9-9 now.
Granados with a single. Dylan comes into
Shenty
score.
Granados back up the middle.
Tie. 3rd Street, or the scene, up 10-9. And now first baseman number 20, Chris Costantino.
Chris Constantino now.
Ooh.
Wow. But to say that the flight scope didn't quite clearly get that one because it said 174 miles an hour.
Batted around, and now Steve Whaley, the batter.
That'd be a really good exit speed.
A lot of pop.
A lot of pop. If you can buyers right now, you may think it was 174.2 miles an hour. All he knows, it went by him in a hurry.
Came flying back for sure.
This is a big bat right here.
Big night. And the coaches are taking their time trying to slow down this game.
This is your whole season right here. I mean, this is such a flop game. Because the other thing that we don't forget about, if you're 3rd Street, a win here basically guarantees you 3rd place. And when they came here, like I said, I'd be curious how many of the guys in their actual dugout were really sincerely thinking that. Now they can taste it. So you not only are you setting yourself up for a chance to win this thing, a much better spot than the loss, but you're putting yourself in a really good place to say, hey, we've had a heck of a run. From the budget that we're running on, the talent we're running on, the number of major players we're running on, this is a heck of a run, and they should be, proud of it. Obviously, I know they want to win the tournament, but sometimes when you step back a week from now and realize, man, we accomplished a lot in that run. This is that big swing game in the bracket.
Steve Whaley. Ground ball. They go to second and end the threat, but the scene, they are on top, headed to the 3rd. We're just getting started with semifinal number 2.
Qualifying is on to be a Boomba All-American, and this year's USSSA All-American Games have been expanded to create more opportunities for more players. This year, there'll be 24 regional showcase tryouts that will select 2 teams per region, with 12 players on each team, allowing the athletes to compete in an average of 22 innings of play during the tournament. Also new for this year is a 3-game single-elimination championship bracket. Get evaluated in hitting, running, and 2 defensive positions of your choice for your chance to qualify for the Boomba All-American Games. Get more information at USSSAallamerican.com.
There we are back under the lights at the Men's Major World Series. Running up there, Don Cooper, Jade Smith with you. It appears that Ken Hawk is with us now, mic'd up behind home plate. Jade Smith helping make sure that he's wired up, and I really enjoy when the home plate umpire allows us that type of access. Obviously, and in some ways it's access on both sides, because the players have to realize that with this being live streamed, that they've got to think a little bit differently about the way they talk about things too.
Correct.
Just stepping over.
Well, what helps is that Ken Hawk doesn't technically speak English. He's from Little Rock, Arkansas, and he speaks whatever it is that you speak in Little Rock, Arkansas. But I spent a lot of time with him, and I go back and get it translated later from one of the other umpires.
Strike. Let me know. Hands coming down, sir. Play.
Sounded good.
Crushed. Onto the batting cages. 427 feet and 11 inches.
Yeah, well, you trying to short these poor guys. There's your 20.7 launch angle, so that's actually flatter than.
Yeah, a little flatter than you'd like to be, from what I understand. That's the bottom of the range, from what I'm told.
Right, from what the scientists tell us.
Hands coming down, sir. Here we go. Play.
Time to take a nap. Not probably the most comfortable place to take a nap, but if this game goes a whole lot longer, that might be my slot before the 9 a.m. game tomorrow.
I like a guy that has Adele as his walk-up music too, Bernie.
I agree. Hello.
Yeah, it's a solid choice.
I don't think there's anything to take a nap about tonight.
All right, hands coming down. Play. Strike.
You may hear. I had someone tell. Why does he say hands coming down? As you'll hear, texting me a minute ago. What it is what Ken's telling you is they've asked for a verbal, and then they give it, and then he's giving him a verbal back. My hands coming down, saying it's telling the pitcher it's okay to pitch.
Justin Evans at the plate, and a little bit of I guess not controversy, but the umpires coming together an inning ago.
Now third baseman Chad Folsom.
And Jade Smith got a chance to talk to Ken Hawk in between innings while she was talking to him about helping him get mic'd up, and she has a little more on the call when the ball went out of play. Excuse me, Jade?
Yes, Bernie, the call was made, confirmed that the bases were second and third. He said that the runner hadn't gotten to the base when the ball was hit.
Thank you, Jade. Just as you had mentioned.
Yeah, so it's a little different ruling. So sometimes you'll see coaches get upset with an outfield throw for whatever reason, because it's a great game. A lot of our rules have come over from the great game of baseball, and we've come up with some rules there. Is that from an outfield throw, it's the last base that was occupied. It's 2 bases from the base that was occupied. So what they were deeming that he hadn't gotten there yet. So. And that's all you can ask for is with the umpires to get together and get it right. They all came together. They had a conversation about it, and as a coach and a player, that's all you can ask for and appreciate.
Robert North out to right field. This ball is really flying tonight, isn't it?
Yeah, once the temperature drops, here, the humidity normally falls with it a little bit, and it carries much better here and everywhere. So the one thing about these synthetic balls they are a little more weather sensitive, especially the high compression lower core balls. They're more weather sensitive than the high core balls. the knock on the high core balls, which definitely play a little truer, is they're bouncier. And they're a higher core, meaning it's actually got a larger piece of rubber inside. It's those of you that are old, like you and I, Bernie, the old Super Balls.
Yep.
That's really what's inside and wrapped around them. And they're great because the ball doesn't change that much in the weather. They're not so temperature sensitive. Another great swing right there by Cam. But they bounce. And they're very bouncy, and it's one of the complaints. And I know the ball manufacturers are working very hard on finding a compromise, a ball that stays true to what it is, in 60-degree temperature and a 100-degree temperature, but doesn't have the bounce. Because a lot of times people will talk about, the performance of that ball fell off in the heat. Well, the other problem we have with this, that same ball, the performance goes up too much in the cold. And so it's both sides that we've been looking at. And I know the ball manufacturers have worked hard on, and they've tested all over the country, and it's ongoing.
Well, this is probably one of the best testing beds, and you think about over the years, the Dudley Stadium ZN, everybody really enjoyed playing with that softball because of the success that it had. And obviously, if it can work out well here in Florida during the heat of the summer, you've figured something out, right?
Right, yeah. And the downside of that ball was if you got, and we talked about even using the normal ZNs, like when we host a tournament in Seattle every year, there have been years on that's that swing time of the year up there weather-wise. We've hosted that tournament, and it's been 90 during the day, and we've hosted that tournament, and it's never gotten over 55. So, when you're dealing with that on both sides of it, I also don't want to go up there and play on 300-foot fields with a rock.
Right.
And so that's one of the reasons that they're still experimenting with the balls and trying to get them right.
Time is called. Here.
Yeah, it's always
All right, hands down.
the bat manufacturers trying to get that next advancement. And sometimes I think the ball is overlooked, but I think that over the years, from what I understand, that's one of the reasons why people really have enjoyed playing the conference, because the conference and USSSA have worked so hard with Dudley over the years to get a ball that's right.
I agree with that completely. You know what you're going to play with when you get there. And when we talk about, earlier tonight we've talked about the bat testing and the new protocol, and we talked about, you'll see the buckets on the field. And I think most of the softball fans now have come to understand what those are. My comment has always been, when we talk about altering and things like that, is that bats go home with players. Balls don't. So if there's a way that we can really control the game with the ball, and we know that ball's going to react no matter what happens, to me, that's a big step in the right direction.
Hands coming down. Plate.
Jason at the plate with 2 away.
Right here. Right here. Plate. No, still down there, still here, nothing coming up. Yep. Hands coming down, sir. Plate.
Popped up, and the play made. Side retired. 4 in for 3rd Street here in the top of the 3rd. Moving right along. Semifinal number 2. Scene coming back to the plate, trailing by 3.
Each and every day you come out here to the park, you give everything you got.
Behind every good team is a great coach.
Our hands are not in here, hands are out.
Today's coaches mold tomorrow's leaders.
It's a lot of hard work.
We know the blood, sweat, and tears that go into the job. And that's why this season, coaches fly free when booking their team's travel with us.
That's all right, come on, it's fine.
Save time, save money, fly with the Air Travel Group.
We are here, bottom of the third inning. Great night for softball, and no matter where you are in the ballpark, they're trying to find a vantage point, though. I don't know if that's the spot that I would try to watch the game.
I have a sneaking hunch when the nice folks here at ESPN Wide World of Sports find them up there that they will be escorted out of the park.
It's selfie time.
Selfie time. Selfie time. Hopefully nothing bad comes of that, because that has that look to it, Bernie.
13-10. It's pretty steep. It's not a bad view. We've gotten some really nice shots of the stadium, particularly when it's full over the years from that vantage point.
Davis Bilardello.
Bilardello at the plate.
Yep.
Tyler, he will, Ty. He will, Ty.
Hands coming down.
He
sir.
will. Tommy.
Plate. In front.
First pitch comes up a little short.
Right on it. Okay.
They play 7 innings here. Semifinal number 2. The winner of this one is going to take on Smash It Sports tomorrow, 1 o'clock. And a game we'll have for you on USSSALive.com. The coverage begins tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. Plenty of softball still remaining in this season at the major level.
Hands coming down, sir. Plate.
Sky high pop up.
Evans in the middle grabs
119 feet 4 inches up.
Now the center fielder, number 7, Corey Newman.
You listen to the conversation. The umpires do a really nice job of making the catchers and the pitchers aware of what they're seeing.
Right.
Hands coming down. Plate.
Corey Newman. Who does it favor tomorrow morning? The Rismondo-Backman game, because it's kind of a tale of two teams. That I guess if you're Backman, you see Newman hit a home run to the opposite field. If you're Backman, you're happy because you have a couple of hours to sleep it off. If you're Rismondo, after you had that huge come from behind win, you probably almost would have loved to roll right into the game.
Yeah, they would have liked to have played that game right afterwards. The way they went there, I agree with that completely. You know, that's an interesting call. And I think psychologically, there's two ways to look at it. Rismondo's had a day to deal with being in the losers bracket already. They came back today and had to play two games today in the losers bracket. So you know they've kind of wrapped their head around. Okay, this is where we're at. This is what it's going to take to win it. I think there's probably a little bit of shop saw. Okay, Rismondo's in the losers bracket. Everybody sat in this park, and like we talked about before, if you weren't a Rismondo fan or wearing a Rismondo jersey, you were rooting for them to go away in that game. When they were down the 15 in the fifth, you know, everybody in this park was quietly hoping for them to go away. So now they've came back on a high. Your Backman. I apologize about that. That was one of their earlier sponsors. Name of the habit when the Backman team went through that. So I think psychologically, you almost have to tip your hat to Rismondo.
Jason Branch. See you later.
Physically, though, we heard that, Andy Brissell left, didn't hit in the home run contest. I heard he needed we've heard from the park, not confirmed, but we've heard that he needed an IV. Greg Cannell was a little bit banged up tonight. I think the shop team may have or the Backman team may have a little bit more depth than the Rismondo team does right now. So it's a pick 'em. It really is a pick 'em.
Coming down. Play.
The big question is after that, Bernie, will either one of those two teams have anything left, to make a run back?
Strike!
It's a long way home.
It's a long ways home.
Yep.
For both of those teams. Because obviously Rismondo, they had to play one extra game today, but I'm not sure how much that affects things tomorrow, would you say?
Yeah, I don't think it does. Like I said, I think psychologically, as long as they're not just physically beat to death, where it's an injury, great swing there. If they're not physically hurt, everybody's sore this time of the year. Everybody's banged up, but I mean, there's a difference between that and I've got a sprained ACL. As long as they're not physically done, I don't think it means a lot. I think it'll mean more tomorrow in the afternoon if you're in your third game, your fourth game, or your fifth game tomorrow. I think for sure it factors in. And I think even this game running late right now, because the loser of this game plays, I believe, at 11 o'clock tomorrow against Team Combat. Right. Team Combat's been tucked away since 5 o'clock today, wrapped up in bed, took a shower, had a meal, a couple guys hitting the home run derby, let's go to bed. I mean, we're looking at, by the time the loser of this game gets tucked away, it's 1:30, 2 o'clock in the morning. Since you've tried to predict weather upon us, maybe later. But that's what we're looking at here. So does that favor them? And that's been one of the questions we've had when the bracket was put together this way. Is the loser of this game, the last game of the night, really kind of gets a disadvantage from that standpoint. Now it's not the 8 o'clock game that's going to go on, right? But still, the other team that was in the losers bracket before you has been done for 5 hours.
Brumgard, that one is gone. And I think out of left field, Jason maybe just lost sight of how close to the wall he was.
Yeah.
The scene back on top.
That's where you blame your center fielder for not talking to you. Look over at him like, hey, bub, it's okay to say wall. Anything. Concussion, something. Throw me a sign.
But I guess the advantage is tomorrow night at 7 o'clock, they'll be playing the championship game and potentially if game under the lights, as opposed to how it was on Sunday morning. And, you've actually essentially moved not just the potential 2 games, but you moved 3 games from Sunday morning, because they used to play the losers bracket.
Well, we used to bring 4 teams back. So, went 4 to 3, 3 to 2, and then there could still be an if, right?
Yep.
So, yeah, and again, I think the atmosphere that comes with tomorrow night is worth the trade-off.
These guys, almost toe-to-toe. Both teams with 3 in the first. They both have 4 in the third. And it's tight as you go to the fourth. USSSA is the stage where the nation's top sports stars shine for the country to see. On the diamond, the top baseball players are looking to be chosen by the Select 30 and compete as a team at the National Amateur Baseball Championships. In Fast Pitch, USA Elite Select and the World Fast Pitch Championships brings together premier players and teams from across the country to play for the title and continue their dream of one day playing professional softball. While Nationwide Conference USSSA hosts the stars of slow pitch softball. Take your game to the next level. Play the best. Play USSSA. We are back. Don Cooper, Bernie Gunther with you here at Champion Stadium. Bill Pinkham back on the mound. Let's check in once again with Jade Smith for more on the scene's pitcher.
Thanks, Bernie. Yes, I spoke with him between innings and asked him about his web gym in the first inning and asked him if it was a reaction or a luck catch. He said definitely reaction. His motto on the mound is to make sure that he sets up before every at bat and pitch, and he says that he makes sure he's a defensive player and not just a pitcher.
Thank you, Jade. Ken Hawk, well aware when Jade Smith is on the field, making sure that Bradley Tabler doesn't rip one down the line. She appreciates that, I'm sure.
She does.
All right, hands coming down, sir. Play.
Bradley Tabler at the plate.
Woo! Great pick.
There he is. He said it's not luck. He just told Jade Smith there's another.
That's a great play by Jason Branch right there. The ball is absolutely crushed at him.
And now number 12, he's 2 for 2 in the
Wow.
game with 2 home runs. He's driven in 6. Dave Kessler.
Knocked down and just basically comes right up perfectly into the hand.
Yeah,
as if
and
it was.
we've seen Jason Branch, lead teams from first base, from center field, from left field, this year from third base.
Hands coming down. Play.
One more hump. Good pitch, good spot.
A line drive for Kessler out to right field.
Kessler places the ball in front of Villardello in right field. A runner on for number 1, Brian
Top of the
Daniel.
4th inning. Brian Daniel coming to the plate. He's in the 6th hole. Right fielder.
Coming down, sir. Play.
Turning, it goes foul into the corner.
All right, hands coming down, sir. Play.
Just after midnight on the East Coast. Men's Major World Series semifinal number 2. Bernie Gunther, Don Cooper, Jade Smith.
Play. Yep.
Ken Hawk said it wasn't good enough.
All right, hands coming down. Play.
Wow. Almost 2. 2 spectacular grabs on the infield for the scene.
2 outs for number 29, Jason.
Just 96 miles an hour exit speed. There you go. You don't even get excited about that anymore.
And you think you put into perspective, if you look at MLB StatCast, you're seeing a lot of home runs that they show, and when it gets above to the north of 100, that's where it gets to be exciting. We're just talking about 101, 102, 103,
Right.
not some of the 112s, 116s that we saw here tonight. And again, obviously wood bat first compression, we're not going to even start to talk about the differences, because obviously the bat technology is different.
Okay.
I think 112, I thought I had read that 112 something, Nelson Cruz had a ball that was 112 miles an hour, and it shocked everybody in MLB that it was generated.
Grounded, and that's the final play of the inning. The infield cleaning things up for the scene. First time tonight,
There's the
a
blank.
0 is
blank.
on the board. Kessler and company disappointed, but the scene's coming back with a chance to add to their lead.
How did I get there? I played against the best. How did I get there? I challenged myself. How did I get there? I raised my level of competition.
USA Elite Select. Your legacy starts here.
With Direct Points Daily, your vacation begins at GoMelbourneFlorida.com.
Here we are under the lights, past midnight at Champion Stadium. The scene coming to the plate leading 14-13. Men's Major World Series winner of this one takes on Smash It Sports. Right now, it looks like obviously the winner of tonight's game in Smash It, they are going to be in control. With the losers playing against Team Combat. Team that's gotten upgraded. You guys got a bunch of veterans on your squad, Dennis Ruley and company.
Yeah, it's quite an interesting mix of kids and young kids. The John Williams and Zach Messer on the left-hand side that are so young and green, but have played so well down the stretch. And of course, Grandpa Ruley in the middle that still hits it. So it's a great blend of youth and athleticism, and they've enjoyed themselves, I think. The big addition for us was to add L.C. Watson to the mix late in the year, and he kind of changed the direction of that club a little bit. And
hands coming down. Plate.
Lasky puts the scene on the board here in the fourth.
With a lead-off home run. Now number 5, Shenty Granados, the batter.
Hands coming down. Plate.
Shantae Granados, we have one to the left and one to the right.
Two, John.
Homer to right. And now first baseman Chris Costantino.
little Welcome Back Carter walk-up music. That's outstanding.
Probably one of my favorite things about the Men's Major World Series is the walk-up songs and getting to learn the personalities of these players.
Time.
Costantino with a single, and now the middle infielder.
Constantino, a little single.
Whaley, the batter.
Steve Whaley now.
I can't think of this walk-up music and not think about Ken Griffey Jr. being a Seattle boy. Hip Hop Hooray was always his walk-up music when he was a Mariner.
It's amazing to think that at Wrigley Field, the walk-up songs just recently introduced with the new video boards. It's such the culture now today, right?
Yeah. Well, again, I mean, they were the last team to bring in lights, and when you look it up, it wasn't that long ago that they didn't even have lights there in the scheme of everything.
Yeah, I believe it was actually in 1988.
Yes, I mean obviously it's still a long time ago. I don't want to admit how with our age, but I mean it's not when you realize how many other parks had lights for 30 years before that or 40 years before that.
Couple inches. Jason was all over it.
It's still a great place to watch a game. You know, when we talk about traveling and all these teams that we do, one of the great experiences we had this year with the Derby girls on the women's side was we went up and played in the PIF representing U-Trip up there.
Right.
It was 4th of July weekend. We got done, and on the 4th of July, we flew out of Boston. So we went to Fenway Park on 4th of July and took the majority of the team that flew out of there, 10 or 11 of the girls. I think only one of them had ever been to Fenway Park before, so to be there on Patriots Day, to see all the pageantry, you know, those are the type of things that I think that are lost in the travel of softball too. Is that when you have an opportunity to take those things in, and we had a bunch of our girls here after we won the majors last weekend drive down to Florida. They down to Miami to see the Marlins play. They'd never seen Stanton, and he got to play. And
it's a great thing about Major League Baseball. It carries for a bunch of months, so you travel around the country, get to see a bunch of great ballparks.
And there's nothing like Fenway and Wrigley, and so I was so blessed to be able to go to old Yankee Stadium, even though I'm not a Yankees fan, just to realize who played on that field and played in that stadium. Same way with Fenway, you know, to understand the history of that building. And you know, you hope people, it's a dump, it's old, but maybe all those things are a little bit true. But when you factor in the history, it's a castle, in my opinion.
Well, there's something to be said about the older ballparks and the intimacy that they have that sometimes the new venues just can't replicate.
Yeah.
Corey Newman, 2 in here for the scene.
Hands coming down. Plate.
Dropping that back foot. He went out of here backside last time using that short porch, and you saw there he
goes out to right, bobbled for a second. I think the run was going to score one way or another.
And the way Davis runs, I think he was going first or third as soon as he realized that ball, so I don't think it really changed much.
Costantino comes in to score, and pinch hitter.
We're going to Hall of Famer Jason Kendrick.
The coach getting a swing.
Kendo's Clinic. He is a one and only right there.
Plate.
was an anchor of many of the Rismondo teams as well as the Dan Smith teams and Team Combats. One of my favorite absolute teammates, and had the privilege of also working with Jason for 10 years.
Lines it out to right field.
He can still hit.
Gives him a chance to jog around the bases. 4 in here now for the scene. It's 18-13.
Turned 49 a week ago, so he's all excited that he gets to go play 50 and over now. And I said, it's hard for me to believe that Jason Kendrick is playing 50s, because that means I'm that old, so it can't be happening.
Jason Branch. Just joining us, Jeremy Yates won the home run derby tonight. Jason Branch missed that one.
Well, we should replace that ticker up there where the pitches we were talking about.
Yep.
To the number of times it's calling a timeout than going out there to work, because
yeah.
I think the managers tonight are about 7 for 8, or they may be 8 for 8 on that. It's amazing why that works.
And now catcher Eric.
I think it's just giving the pitcher that extra moment. To maybe decompress.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Hands coming down, sir. Play.
That was a big out with JB. You know, he hadn't made an out in the game going into that spot, and there's a chance that this game could have got away from 3rd Street real quick. Now you get an out, and it doesn't seem so bad what happened here, but Branch blows another one out, and the other problem then becomes all of a sudden you went from a real close game and the run rule starts lurking.
Play.
Here Canopy.
He might have got that one. It's going to run away.
Wow, look at that one carry off the bat.
Canopy, a 2-run blast.
412.5 feet.
Driven in 5. He's 4 for 4 in the contest. And now the batter, Dale Brungard.
Just so much explosive power off the bat.
Bubbles missed that one. Park is going to hold it.
Matuzik left grabs the 3rd
Play made out in left field. Retires us up at 7 for the scene. They lead it 21-13 as we head to the 5th. We are here in the top of the 5th inning. 3rd Street trailing 21-13. More on the team that upset Resmondo last night. Let's check in once again down on the field with Jade Smith. Jade?
Thanks, Bernie. I spoke with the head coach for 3rd Street in between innings and asked him what their team motto has been throughout this entire year. And he says that he tells his team to play like no one thought they'd be here, to always play scrappy like the underdogs. Back to you, Bernie.
I think that helps sometimes, that mentality of coming into the game with the only result that can happen no matter what is a positive result. You're here, you're in this huge game against 3rd Street, and nothing you could do but enjoy it and have fun.
Yeah, no, that's what I say. I think this.
Hard hands coming down. Play. Right beside it. Play.
Justin Evans, hello, welcome to the box. An Adele walk-up song, and Jade has a little insight on that, Jade.
Back point.
The scoop why Justin Evans chose the song Hello by Adele, and he said the reason behind it is that it's his kids' favorite song. They listen to it every single morning in the car, so he couldn't think of a better song to choose.
Ah, that's a nice story, thinking
Great
about
story.
the kids.
It's solid. It's a solid. I like that.
For Justin Evans.
It worked for him.
Yeah. My kids haven't advanced past Sophia the First and a few others, so I think that we'd be in trouble walk-up song picking right now. Elena of Avalar. Frozen.
Frozen, I was going to say.
I mean, the Disney folks, obviously they've got them on record somewhere here, so I guess it wouldn't be too much of a problem. Ted Folsom at the plate.
Play.
One in here in the 5th. Ground ball over to 3rd. Spinning and throwing. And the play made. Crowd number 1.
They get Folsom at first. And now second baseman Robert No 2 for 2 in the game.
Robert North now. It's a 3rd Street team that put up a really impressive performance last night.
Hands coming
A
down.
mercy rule win over Resmondo. So convincing with the pitching. They did a great job of keeping that powerful Resmondo team off balance the entire game.
Yeah, they did everything right. I mean, from every pitch to every ball hit at them. I mean, it was as good a performance as you could see by a team.
And now the pitcher, Cam Byers.
Cam Byers in the 11 hole, bottom of the lineup now.
Hands coming down, sir. Play.
Ooh.
Infield single for Byers.
I think that this maybe Bill Pinkham, that caught him by surprise.
Yeah.
I was surprised to see him not even try to swat it down.
Unless our angle's wrong and it was way, way over him.
Yeah, maybe it did take a pretty high hop.
Yeah, it did. The old school AstroTurf hop there.
Like you talked about Jade Smith and her career as a slap hitter in softball. Maybe
there it was,
maybe
right
turn
there.
it into haven't really seen slap hitting make its way to slow pitch softball. Maybe it's the future. Whoa! Look what I found in my glove. Nothing but smiles. Sometimes you just got to reach up and snatch the opportunity. That's what the scene did. Shutting down things here in the top of the 5th. It is well past midnight. It's the bottom of the 5th. But our crew, they are working hard for you. Mitch down at 3rd. Jasmine up at high 1st. The big guns. Jeremiah Singleton. Tremaine Singleton on high home.
Here we go, babe.
Jeremy Singleton on high home. Don Cooper with us in the booth. Jade Smith down on the field. And softball on your screen around the country live past midnight on the East Coast. One more big day of coverage tomorrow coming your way starting at 9 a.m. Big game. Rismondo Backman kicks it off.
The way we're going right now, you can grab a shower, a bite to eat, and be right back to watch that one.
I'd grab at least a couple of hours of Z's, depending on what part of the world you're in. I mean, if you're watching over in Singapore, then your day is, it's just lunchtime over there, so I guess you don't have to catch a nap. You can enjoy the game with dinner.
Play.
This is Brandon Dillon.
Play.
Get some really impressive hits during our home run derby, I think, tonight.
Ooh, outstanding athleticism. Runs right into the bullpen to see if he can get loose. I'd have broke every bone in my body attempting that.
Wow. It's all about looking smooth. That's what I found out over the years.
That was great.
And with Brandon Dillon at the plate and the moves that he has in left field.
Hands coming down, sir. Play.
Got to do everything to try to stay with him. Straightens it out.
I think you're catching that one.
And it leaves the yard.
Oh, a little late night fall down out there from our shaggers.
I tell you, there have been a ton of balls being caught out there in left field. Somebody has just had a heyday and caught dozens and dozens and dozens of balls. Keith Lasky.
Hands coming down. Play.
I don't have a team that needs BP balls, but if I did,
Just saying. There's
it'd be
another
a good
one.
spot to find them.
Add it to the collection, I think. It's backing up a little bit. Gone.
Lasky over the wall, back to back.
There's two.
And like we talked about earlier, the run rule is lurking. This has been a very close game. We're six away from this thing ending quickly, and that's what happens in some of these games like that.
Hands coming down, sir.
Shante Granados.
Strike.
Those are called strike.
Play.
Running away from everybody.
Wow.
Running away from everybody. Uh-oh, uh-oh.
And he's out, taking the extra base. Shante Granados got a little greedy.
Yeah. I think that's a situation where you got to know where you're at right now, and that 6 is lurking right there for him. You're right in the spot of your order that can get him for you. You got to know you're going to get there standing up, but it's also hard if you're Jason Kendrick to be upset with the hustle.
It's a pretty close play.
It was. I think you have to just know, you know.
Down, sir. Play.
Chris Constantino. This one is launched as well, but I felt for a moment it might be too high, and it's off the light post.
That was just read very, very badly.
That one hit the light pole and come back into play, though?
I don't think so. I think that hit right off the top of the wall. I think I just got read wrong.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Right off the wall.
Here we go, here we go.
Just flat overran it.
Yeah.
And that's where we're sitting there right now with that extra out, that extra out with Shant. That's a run in right now, and that run rule is getting real close with nobody out. So we'll see how big that plays out here at the end.
Steve Whaley at the plate.
Yep. Hands coming down. Plate. This back.
First pitch a little deep to Whaley.
Plate. Back here even
It's
further.
2-0.
Plate. Nope.
And Whaley's going to draw a walk.
Face on balls for Whaley, now number 27.
So they're on the corners.
Let me know.
Villardello back to the plate.
Chad, what's up, Chad?
The scene,
And
runners
coming
on the corners,
Plate.
trying to get a date with Smash It Sports at 1 o'clock tomorrow right here.
Surprised Davis didn't get all over that pitch. That's a pitch to take right up out of here.
Back off.
He looked frustrated with it. I'm
Hands
not.
coming down. Plate. Plate.
Missed it.
Wow. Villardello out number 2.
Villardello, an infield fly out. Now 2 outs for number 7, Corey Newman.
That brings Corey Newman to the plate now.
Yeah. Hands coming down, sir. Plate. Unfairly delivered. Plate.
There we go.
Popped up and it is caught. Out of right field. Play made. Retires the side. And what could have been a really big inning wasn't quite as big.
Yeah.
To the 6th we go in a 23-14 game.
Dudley. Quality, consistency, durability.
For those who serve. For those who protect. For those who save. For those who have sacrificed. The Heroes Tour is dedicated to you.
It is the Men's Major World Series. 2 innings remaining. Ken Hawk behind home plate.
Yes, sir.
3rd Street's Tommy Melton at the plate. As we have found ourselves now in the 6th inning.
Hands coming down, sir. Plate.
Anything surprise you so far about this year's World Series?
Hit it.
And Rosmondo being in a loser's bracket that early, you know.
Yeah.
And then struggling in there. I mean, they had games all day. It was a huge comeback. Tip your hat to them, but
yeah, they were down to their final out at one point.
Final
today.
out, yeah, down 15, and Lee Payne came up with a heck of a clutch hit to keep the dream alive. They actually struggled a little bit earlier in the day for a while. You know, you've got Backman and Rosmondo playing for 5th place tomorrow. One of them's the best they can do, which you know, so your 1 or your 2 seed coming into this event's going to finish 5th. I think how many good young power hitters are coming up everywhere.
Coming down. Plate.
If this game ends without a rain delay, we had 1 full day without 1 delayed. I honestly can't remember the last time we saw that. Without a lightning delay or a rain delay, or you know, we had an entire day right now. We're a few minutes away from completing.
Wednesday we had a
both.
About a 45-minute delay, a little bit of rain.
Yeah, we had the lightning delay. We were in the dugout getting ready to play and stood there for 50 minutes while.
But we haven't had the big pour yet.
Right.
Now first baseman Brad Tabler.
The Diamond Dry has been able to stay in the bag. And 2 outs is Bradley Tabler comes to the plate, and they're just running out of outs in this game.
Right. You had to wonder a little bit about them, how emotional of a win it was last night over Osmondo as they were walking out of the park. Everybody was high-fiving them and slapping them on the back. And
Hands coming down. Plate.
Sky-high pop fly, look at this. Just 1 run for 3rd Street, combined in the last 3 innings. 23-14.
One, two, three, baby! All right, boys, let's go. Come Mike!
All right, here we are, bottom of the 6th inning, 23-14. Things getting a little tough for 3rd Street with the Scene batting in the bottom of the 6th. Down at third base, let's check in with Jade Smith for more on 3rd Street.
Thanks, Bernie. I spoke with David Kessler, the left fielder for 3rd Street, and I asked him about the play where he jumped over the fence, and he said he has no worry in the world. It's the last tournament, and to go all out, and if he gets hurt, he has plenty of time to recover.
Yeah, that's what you think about for these athletes. That's what's so important. You think about you mentioned the story about Andy Purcell that I don't know that I have confirmation of either about getting the IV potentially, but for these guys, this is it. After tomorrow, you're kind of on a break. I mean, there are some co-ed World Series and all that, but,
most
but not
tournament in the world.
but not the ones that they've been dreaming about all year summer long.
We laugh about the co-ed because that's where we all kind of come back together, and the pressure's off here. It's not about representing a manufacturer or representing your sponsor, your team. That's a weekend that a lot of us come back here together. We're mixed up on different teams. We've been together for years there, and it's the weekend that we kind of what softball once was, where it was just a bunch of friends playing together. Before you had big budget teams that were flying all over the country, and it's one of the things that a lot of people say, well, geez, that's got to be, but it is a business. You've got these sponsors putting a lot of money in, Bernie, that are flying you all over and stuff. It's a different level. So you're right. This is the kind of that's what this is, but we still sure love that co-ed major tournament where it's one big kind of family affair for sure. That's an interesting thing for Dave Kessler to say, because he battled ankle and leg injuries all last year. It cost him a year. He was really a rising star, left-handed power hitter that could play all the defensive positions a couple years ago with that Taija team, and he's battled injuries that have really held him back. I think, he was probably 2 years ago was everybody's pick to be the next Jeremy Yates.
Jason Branch draws a walk.
Branch with a walk, and
Scene,
number 92, Eric Kennedy.
if they can put together an inning, they can shut things down right here, or 3rd Street's down to their final 3 outs. In the 7th inning.
Hands coming down. Plate.
Either way, they'd still like to put up a couple here. They've scored in every inning so far.
You never assume, as we've seen. We don't assume anything. So
Plate.
You throw a blank here, and the next thing you know, you're hitting in the next.
Wow, they had him played perfectly.
Perfect. Got him. you know, we've seen this. All of a sudden, you go from where you were a couple of swings of home run ruling somebody, and the next thing you know, you're losing a game, you know, as we saw earlier today. So, yeah, I mean, obviously the team would love to just close this out. Don't even give them another chance. But if nothing else, again, push that number out.
Hands coming down, sir.
At least like to get it to a double-digit lead.
Dale Brumgert.
That should do that. It's backing up a little. Gone.
That'll get him on the scoreboard here.
Isn't that the White Sox? Put it on the board. That's your crosstown.
Put him on the board, yes.
Your crosstown team.
Yep.
Ken, what was his name? That always.
The Hawk as well.
Ken Hawk, right? It was the same. Yeah. So I was confusing him. I think no, that's the umpire.
Brandon Dillon at the plate. So we missed out. We should have brought Vince Scully in to do a little slow pitch softball.
I grew up with two favorite teams and still are: Cincinnati Reds and anybody playing the Dodgers.
Yep.
So, but with that being said, I love listening to Vince Scully.
Play.
There is nothing better, in my opinion.
Dillon, a home run and a telephone booth.
Let's see if we can get the height. 102 feet, 1 inch height.
2 outs for Keith Lasky.
Sky high pop up.
Yep.
Keith Lasky.
Hands coming down. Plate. Back through.
We got lift off again. That's fair. And gone for Lasky.
423 feet and that all-important 1 inch.
Shanti Granados. Might have been done if it wasn't for the base running error earlier.
Strike.
You are correct, sir.
Guess when you're leading 27-14, you're probably not thinking about it in that perspective.
No. But again, like I say, you never know what's going to happen. You got a chance to close it, close it. Oh.
Time.
And a chance to close it out now.
Granados aboard on the error. And now first baseman Chris Costantino.
Number 99.
Yep. Time is called.
We'll see if it works here. This would be a great time for the.
This is the time for the
shutdown because the young Chris Constantino can find the other side of the fence. We all dance out of the parking lot.
Just Jason. That's one. Here we go.
Chris Constantino.
Hands coming down. Costantino.
Play.
First pitch missing for a ball. Ground ball, base hit.
That might score him.
Trucking around.
Granados comes around to score on the double by
28.
Costantino.
14 and out base hit would do it.
Costantino a homer shy of the cycle. And now number 4, Steve Whaley, the batter.
See, this comes back to where this park plays in here. Your normal convention would be to walk Whaley, set up a force everywhere, deep and back up, but you've got the big lefty over there.
Hands coming down. Play. Back.
Base hit, Whaley back up the middle.
He's going to get thrown out. Oh, cut.
Costantino comes around to score on the single by Whaley.
And that's the ball game, 29-14.
The scene with a 15-run victory, 29-14.
The Scene. Smash It Sports. 1 o'clock tomorrow. That is the matchup, and the winner will be in the championship game that we'll have for you at 7 o'clock on MLB.com. Jade Smith trying to track down Jason Kendrick after a big win tonight for the Scene team. They have advanced. We'll take a break and talk to the winners when we come back to Champion Stadium.
I'm Lauren Chamberlain, first baseman for the USSSA Pride. I really like to feel good when I swing. I don't like to overcomplicate things. So I find myself often just hitting into a bow net, visualizing what I want to do, and then taking that with me on the field. Even on an off day, I love to get some hacks in. When I have a quick 30 minutes, the bow net is super easy to set up. I grab my bat, a bucket of balls, and I swing until I feel good. Bow net, play anywhere, play now.
Follow him in there.
We are back here at Champion Stadium. Big win tonight.
It's awkward.
They are Team Albuquerque, the Scene.